being able to change chords in time and strum smoothly, it's one of the cornerstones of playing guitar. I'm Thomas Michaud from Real Guitar Success. If you can play a few open chords and can strum a little bit, but you're still having a hard time getting from one chord to the other in time and smoothly, this video is going to be great for you. I remember when I first started learning, it was fairly easy for me to play some basic chords, but I had a very difficult time getting from one chord to the other in time, so that it sounded like a real song. I was playing at a campfire one day with a bunch of friends, and I remember looking down and being pleasantly surprised that I was strumming and changing chords with no problem without even thinking about it. It took me about a year to get to that point. And if I had known the information that I'm going to share with you in this video, I could have got to that place in a fraction of the time. In this video, we're going to start off by going through some of the basic foundation of how to make a chord cleanly and clearly. This is just to make sure we're all in the same place, but also a lot of the problem with transitioning I've noticed with chords, it has to do with not really being clear on how to make chords clean from the very beginning. Then we're going to go into some tried and true tips on how to transition chords properly. And I have a very important tip that I'm going to save towards the end, once we have a basic structure and some exercise to practice. Then I will show you 4 great exercises, progressive exercises that we can use. And finally, I'll share with you a jam track that you can use to practice along with it. This will make it a lot more fun than just playing by yourself or with a metronome. This is something a lot of beginners, and even some people who've been playing for quite a while, have problems with. If this is you, if you're having a hard time switching cleanly between chords and on time, you are not alone. Don't feel bad. Okay, let's go on to some basic principles of creating chords. Now, I know this will be review for some of you. Please bear with me. And sometimes it's good to review the basics. You might get reminded of some tips that you forgot. We're going to use 3 chords, actually, in this lesson. And I'll show you the chords right now. We're going to use a D chord. We're going to use a C add 9. Now, a lot of times students use just a regular C chord, but I found the C add 9 is just a little cooler chord, and it fits with modern progressions. So this is, if you don't know this chord, I encourage you to learn it. And then a G chord. And I am using my 4-finger version of the G. It fits well with the transitioning of these 3 chords. So here's some basic tips of making chords. We're going to use the G chord for this tip. And if you don't know this chord, let me explain it to you, the fingering. It looks like this. Now, put your 3rd finger and your pinky next to each other on the 3rd fret. And I got my pinky on the 1st string, the high E, and then the 2nd string, the B string, is my 3rd finger, 3rd fret. I'm going to stretch my 2nd finger all the way over to the 6th string, and I'm going to put it on the 3rd fret, and then my 1st finger is on the 5th string, 2nd fret. It's a nice full-sounding G chord. Now, take your hand and pretend like you're holding a ball in your hand. Maybe a baseball or something a little bigger, a softball. This is the basic, good, relaxed hand position for your chords. And what you do is you just put this around the neck, put your thumb behind the neck of the chord, of the guitar fretboard, and then make your chord. Now you'll notice I have my fingers, they're angled up and then down. This is a good position where you can get a lot of leverage. If your fingers are too flattened out, you won't get much leverage. You have to use a lot of muscle basically and get very little effect. So my hand's relaxed and my arm is relaxed, hanging down. Don't crook your hand up too high like this. It'll make it really hard to stretch across. And if you're having a hard time, that might be the issue. But also, don't push your hand up too much this way. This will hurt your wrist after a while, and it's no fun having pain in your wrist. So let your arm kind of hang. I kind of think of it as just enough pressure to hold my hand there, and if I let go, my arm will just fall off. So my arm's not holding up really hard. I got my fingers just on the strings hard enough to keep my hand there. If you're finding that you're having a hard time stretching, sometimes it's because your elbow might be out too far. Check your elbow. Make sure it's kind of hanging down or a little closer to your body. My fingers are angled in such a way that their tips are hitting the frets or I'm sorry, hitting the fretboard, not the frets. So you don't want to angle your fingers too much on the flat part of the fingertips. Just go for the fingertips. And I'm also keeping my fingertips close to the frets. You'll get an easier sound that way, easier to make a good sound that way when your fingers stay close to the frets. Remember to stay relaxed. Now, a good way to practice this is to just make the chord and feel what it feels like. Look at your chord, try to memorize what it looks like, but even close your eyes and then just memorize the feeling of the chord. Give it about 10 seconds and take it off and then put it back on. Now try that same thing with a C chord. Let's go through the fingering of the C chord for those who are new to the C add 9. It looks a lot like the G, only we're going to move the first and second fingers over one string to the fifth string and fourth string. So that's one way to think about it. I'm going to finger it one finger at a time, pinky on the third fret, first string, the third finger right next to it on the second string, third fret. My second finger is stretching over to the fifth string now, third fret, and the first finger on the fourth string, second fret. C add 9. Some people call it C add 2, same chord. Now same thing, I'm relaxing my hand. Use just enough pressure to make the sound good, but no more. Be careful you're not clenching too hard, that'll tire you out. And make pain in your hand over time, in your fingers and middle of your hand. So just enough to make the chord. If I loosen up too much, it starts deadening out. Okay, I need a little more pressure. A little more, there we are. Loosen up, okay. That gives me an idea of where I need to press in terms of how much pressure. Release the fingers and your hand drops. My elbow is relaxed. Now let's talk about transitioning from one chord to the other. And we're going to start with just that G chord and that C add 9 chord. The only thing you're transitioning are these two fingers. Now, one way to get started with this is to, once you've got clear on where the chord is, practice just moving your fingers with no timing or rhythm from one chord to the other. Hold your fingers on there for a few seconds, and then move your fingers over. At first, you might just have to do one finger at a time. But try, little at a time, to move them both at the same time. Hold them there for a few minutes. Your fingers get sore, stop, shake them out, and start over. Start with the G chord. Try this with me. Play the G chord. Okay, now move to the C chord. Just get used to the feeling of the movement from one chord to another. In a way, you're memorizing inside your mind what it feels and looks like. Back to the G. Let's move to that C add 9 again. Okay, getting a little sore? Shake them out. Start again, G. So do that for a while before we do the exercises. So now after you've practiced that basic moving from chord to chord for a few minutes, and you might want to do this a little bit each day, just get used to the chord that way. I'm going to give you the 4 exercises that you can practice, and the progressive. So you want to get comfortable with the first one before you go on to the second, and so on. Get comfortable with the second one before you go on to the third. The first exercise, number 1, gives you the most time to transition from one chord to the other. We'll start with the G chord. We're going to do 2 sets of counting of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to strike the G chord on the 1 of each set of 4. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then change chords to the C add 9 and start again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, here's an important trick. When you're playing the G chord that second time, you don't wait until 4 to start changing to the C add 9. You start ahead of time. So I'm just going to show you the second set of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, I've already taken my fingers off and I'm getting ready to put them down and be ready on 1 of C add 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, on 3, I take my fingers off and get them right there ready on the G chord. So that will save you a lot of trouble. I know when I started, I tried to quickly make the change right when it's time, and you can't do it. Even when you're experienced, that's hard to do. And nobody will notice that little pause. Believe me on this, everybody does it. I consider it like a little breathing in the guitar. When you're strumming and playing chords, nobody notices those little gaps where you're moving your fingers. So that's the first exercise. Exercise number 2. Now it's the same 2 sets of 4 beats, but we're going to change more often. We're going to change on 1 and 3. So it sounds like this, G chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, change. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, change. 1. I actually say that in my head. 4, 1, and so on. So you have more chords going on, but you still have plenty of time to change on that last beat of 4. That's the second exercise. So you want to make sure you can do that first exercise fairly well, and try it with a metronome. This will keep you honest with timing, so you're not slowing down and speeding up with the transition. What you want to do is keep the pulse steady and go as slow as you have to make the change. So rather than slowing down in the middle, make the total pulse slow and then pick it up little by little until you can change at a faster tempo. Get to where you can change at least at 60 beats per minute before moving on to the next exercise. So number 3, we're going to add an up stroke. To do that, we're going to add a concept called an and. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, now we're going to go 1, 2, and. And the and is on the upbeat, so it counts like this. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. The end accounts for the second half of a beat, of one beat, so we're dividing the beat in half. With the chord, it's going to sound like this. We're going to strum up on the and. So it's 1, 2, and. That's the up. 3, and then nothing on 4. And that gives you a space to change chords. 1, 2, and 3. Oops, 3, 4. There we go. Then change to the C, add 9. 1, 2, and 3, and then 4. Nothing there, no strumming. Again, 2 times each. 3, 4. With the tempo, if I'm playing with a metronome, I wouldn't stop between chords. Sound like this. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 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 And then back. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm taking my fingers off. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. Fingers off. 4. Exercise number 3. Now let's go on to exercise number 4. Of course, this is the most strenuous, and don't go here until you can do exercise number 3 at least at 60 beats per minute when you test it with the metronome. By the way, don't always practice with a metronome. Just use it once in a while to kind of test your rhythm and then go back playing without. You don't want to be stuck to the metronome constantly. Here's the 4 exercise. Now we're just adding a down strum on beat 4. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And take my fingers off. Now I'm taking my fingers off on the end of 4, so to speak. I'm not strumming the end, I'm taking my fingers off. So you have less time to transition. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Fingers off. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Fingers off. And so on. Now, one of the most important tips I can give you is when you're transitioning chords, don't wait to switch to the next chord before you start thinking about it. Visualize where you're going before you jump there. Think about it. If you waited too long to think about where you're going, you're going to be caught off guard. What you want to do is visualize the next chord in your mind while you're still on the chord that you're at. This is something that can make a big difference in your transitioning. To give you a practical example, if I'm on the G chord and I'm going to go to the C add 9, I'm already thinking about the C add 9 and what my fingers look like. And then I actually jump the gun before I'm on the 1 and move my fingers right there. thinking of the G chord before I actually have to be there. This is something that gets better with practice. So that's why I gave you these exercises. Practice thinking about the next chord before you actually have to change. Visualizing in your mind what it looks like, but even what it feels like. And a way to practice that is just make the chord and close your eyes and just visualize what that feeling is like. Take your fingers off, make it again. Try making it without looking. It'll be hard at first, but it's just practice. And use these exercises to practice that concept as well. Practice visualizing where you're going. Now for the fun part. We're going to play along, or I'm going to show you how to play along with the jam track. This jam track is 3 chords. I'm using the D chord, the C add 9, and the G chord. Each of them has 2 sets of 4 beats. So when you're playing with a jam track, you'll start with the D chord. And if you're new to the D chord, just to make sure, let me show you how I finger it. I've got my first finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. My second finger is over here on the 1st string, the high E, 2nd fret. And then my 3rd finger is on the middle, the 2nd string, on the 3rd fret, in between these 2 fingers. It's a basic D chord. Again, keep your hand relaxed. Your elbow just lightly holding up the chord. Then we're going to go 2 sets of 4 on the C add 9, and then 2 sets of 4 on the G. Now, if this is still hard for you playing along with a jam track, don't worry. Practice the exercises and try it with a metronome sometimes and without until you can get to playing with a jam track. And when you start with a jam track, just start with the simplest exercise. Don't try the more complicated one until you can do the simple one with the jam track. But it will help you to play in time, and it's a lot more fun than just playing with a metronome. So let's do this. Exercise number 1. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Back to the D. 4, 2, 3, 4. Exercise number 2. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. To the D, G. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Fingers off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exercise number 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1. And change. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And change. 1, 2, and 3. Let's do 4. Exercise 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And change. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 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 1, 2. Make up your own exercise. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope you've got incredible value out of it. And even better, I hope you use these ideas and exercises to improve your guitar playing and have more fun. That's where it really counts. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. And if you're new here, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way I can make sure and get you some new lessons and tips. I also want to mention that I've created a service called the Guitar Player's Checklist that I want to share with you. It's a simple 5-minute exercise and a PDF download at the end that could save you literally months off your guitar training. It's completely free, and you can get it by clicking on the link. I'll put a link in the description down below. Take care. See you soon.